first video in our series of looking at Autodesk Inventor Professional 2020. This first video in the series will look at just a basic understanding of the tools, look at some basic 2D CAD commands, and then leading to our first object, similar to the ones we can see down the bottom here. So we're going to jump between our skills throughout this kind of task or this kind of course, just to kind of give you a basic understanding of using Inventor. So first thing we need to know is when creating a new file, we're always going to click our new tab at the top here. Now yours may initially appear having to look like this within the setup. Now this file here is automatically in inches and we need to navigate away from that. So we're going to expand our arrow here and then choose our metric folder option. And we're going to, during our time using this program, we're going to learn to use our part files, our assembly files, your drawing files and your exploded drawing files. A presentation file, should I say. Now, to quarters the time, you'll be jumping between your standard IPT, single wee box to make an individual part, as displayed here, and your standard for millimeters, IAM, which allows you to create what's called an assembly file. So you must choose these as units are in millimeters. If I was to, for instance, click another different one, you can see the units are still in millimeters, but they are making different parts. So we need to be really specific with this and choose the correct file each time. If you were just to click the original one, it's automatically in inches. So again, can't exaggerate enough, must choose IPT. Give your file a second to load, tells you down the bottom is loading. Now, when this loads up, you'll see you're presented with quite an array of information. You've got what's down your left-hand side here where it says model. This area is called your modelling tree. And within that modelling tree is whatever you do within this program, it automatically records any parts you make. Anything you do will automatically start appearing here. The other folder we have here is what's called our origin folder, which I'll explain in 1 wee second. So what I'm going to start off by doing is clicking Start 2D Sketch. Now a lot of time when I tell you to click a button, I'm going to ask you to click on the image rather than the text. So I'm going to click on the image. So what we're presented with is our what is called a work plane. So we've got 3 work planes. We have got our plane that's our YZ, we've got our XY, and then finally we've got our XZ plane. Now these can be found at any time by simply going over to our origin folder here, expanding that, and there's our planes here if we want to maybe change and draw on a different plane or a different sheet of paper, if you will. So if I was just to maybe rotate that angle for you, so we're in an isometric 3D view and then click these planes, we can start to see them reappearing again. So that's really useful when we're coming back to that a bit later on when a bit more advanced. So to begin with, the basics. So you will have, first of all, when we're in our sketch mode, we'll know we're in sketch mode because we'll have this grid here. We have got what's referred to as our view cube on the corner here, which tells you I'm currently looking at the back view, my right hand view, and my front view. And again, I can use these spin and rotate. I've also got my view and navigation tools down my right hand side here. So with my view and navigation tools, I've also got my orbit tool, which then pops up this wee circle. If I click and hold outside that, it rotates my page. And if I click and hold inside that, it will rotate internally. So if I was to draw an object, it would rotate around that object. But if you're in doubt, you can always click the home button, which gives you an isometric 3D view, and then just click back on your front view. Now this can be changed at any time. So if you, for instance, make a mistake, you can always reset that view, which again I'll go into a wee bit later on. We've also got the pan tool, so which we can select the hand to then drag and move around our screen. And we've got our zoom option. So this currently is set at zoom all. Wherever we've got this wee black arrow here, which we then could choose to zoom, zoom window, zoom selected. A lot of the time I just tend to keep it in zoom all that way. Whenever I've drawn something, it will zoom out and show everything that I've drawn, so it will zoom all. The last thing we're going to look at is what's referred to as the look at tool. So if I was to draw my shape, so in this case a rectangle, and I accidentally moved my drawing to the side where I can't see it, I can then go zoom all to bring it back into frame. If I had, for instance, maybe accidentally rotated it to a 3D view or an isometric view, if I was to then use a look at tool and click on it, it would spin it around to look exactly at that surface. So if I've got a 3D object and I want to look at a specific surface, that's how I would do it. Now, going over the use of our tools. So this is what's called a ribbon mode or ribbon feature up the top. Now, to work in Inventor, you have to start off in sketch mode. You have to have a 2D sketch before you create a 3D model. So a lot of time you'll begin in this sketch mode. However, if you start off and open up and it automatically jumps to this for some odd reason, you can see this is